There's no point in chanting, I'm strong, I'm bold, I'm this and that. If it's not connected to you, we all have that negative voice within us, which is constantly telling us, this is not good enough. I don't think I should be doing this. I don't want success, which will make me lose sight of what is important in my life. It's for those few ones who are ready to support their dream now so that their dream will support them in future.
Coaching gives the individual an opportunity to define their career goals in a realistic way. With the assistance of coach, they can set these goals and then actively work towards them. This will increase the likelihood that the goals will be achieved. A coach can give their coachee ideas for ways to improve themselves, but more importantly, they can help them become aware of their blind spots. Great way to build personality awareness is through personality assessments. So one of the coach I know who is working for Businesswoman Network, who is very passionate about copywriting and sharing stories and helping people with business, building their confidence and building their leadership qualities. So my next guest is Ayesha Khan. Like I said, it is all about coaching and leadership. So let me ask her to introduce for us.
All right. Thank you so much, firstly, for this wonderful opportunity. So, my name is Ayesha Khan. I've been raised in Bahrain all my life, and for the work that I'm doing, I have been doing it for past 2 years, and I've been in the personal growth industry for past 4 years. And I started off like a copywriter, like a freelance copywriter, and I used to do projects for people around the globe. And then I realized, my work is really good and it's getting recognized. And then I started working specifically with coaches because I realized that's the kind of content I love creating: personal growth, motivation, and success, and science-backed strategies. Then after that, I approached a few magazines, and after like a lot of applications and going over different editors, finally Max Media, they gave me this opportunity to write for their magazine. And I used to write on how to make productivity and like personal growth into workplace. So how do we use it in order to strengthen your business? That's where all this whole thing came. And I wrote for them for a couple of editions. And then a lot of my coaches kept on telling me that, I think you should go ahead and start. But I had a lot of imposter syndrome, and I was like, I don't think I'm good enough. Maybe I need to do more trainings. Although I did like a lot, I have invested by now, I think way more than I can actually completely gather. Then I was like, I think it's time. So then I approached a corporate trainer. She's a very famous corporate trainer from India. And like I told her about myself, and I started working for her. I started creating content for her. And like that's when it clicked. And then I got myself certified. And like it was all through all of these processes that you finally come to realization that, okay, fine, this is something I want to do. So I started off as confidence coaching, and then I realized that I'm playing really small. I think I can do more. And that's when I like started playing with more with leadership roles, workplace. And then I was like, let me just niche it down to businesswoman. So that's about me.
Great. So this is like, is it your background story for all this happened? This is what led you to coaching, confidence coaching and
Yeah.
leadership coaching. Okay.
Hmm.
So it was not a reason, like it was your passion. It came up and for you and you went for it. Not and
Absolutely.
so
Hmm.
usually like many people, it was like accidental. It was not accidental for you.
No. It wasn't accidental, because I remember very specifically, even while growing up, I was always into leadership positions. I was the head girl of my school. Even when I was like 10, 11 years old, I was like, I want to do this, I want to do more, I want to do more, I want to take up more activities, more extracurricular activities. Then I went India. I took up more leadership roles. I started organizing and managing like a group of like 80 people and stuff. And then I realized that, okay, fine, this is something that I really like. And that's how it kept on happening. So I had like a really good copywriting freelance business in Bahrain, and I had
Mm-hmm.
good clients. I had like Sherwin-Williams, Paints, and I did a lot of work for freelance, like marketing agencies. But the thing is, the freelance market in Bahrain is so short, and you are
Yeah.
really exploited. You're not paid your worth. You're undervalued. You're not paid sometimes. Like they
Yeah.
just ghost you because you're a freelancer. Then I was
Mm-hmm.
like, this is something that I don't want to. I want to be the owner of my own firm, inshallah. So that's how it all came into being. It wasn't accidental, but
Mm-hmm.
you make decisions and then Allah plans it for you. So things just happened. The
Okay.
first business coach I had was I saw her in like a sponsored ad, and then I was like, okay, fine. I was not new to coaching. I used to take coaching from 2015 for my copywriting works and all of that.
Okay. Uh, how about the coaching itself? Not everyone knows the power of coaching, how it
Mm,
helps. So,
exactly.
what do you think, Annie? How did you feel about it? Is it because of that you started like, Annie, I should help? There is something which is missing out. Is it something missing out that because of that you stood up for that?
Okay.
Because there are so
So
many
I'll tell you.
already there.
Mhm.
When entrepreneur starts, like, and if you talk to any entrepreneur, you know what. So
I know,
the
I
main
know.
thing
That's
is
the
it's
thing.
itching thing
I
happens to
I
them.
get you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
So I was
know.
like, let me ask you, how come, Annie? Because I'm trying to go deeper, because if anybody is taking some kind of decision, it should be like, yes,
Hmm.
there should be some reason, right? Annie, something is
Hmm.
missing out. It's not just a passion, right? There must be something which clicked for you.
Hmm. I like you mean if you're talking about my own journey, as in I had like a lot of I used to struggle a lot with depression and anxiety, and like I
Mm-hmm.
resorted a lot of that to self-help books and stuff
Mm-hmm.
like that. I used to read a lot about Elizabeth Gilbert, Brene Brown, and Jen Sincero. I used to love these people, and of course Marie Forleo. And then I was like, okay, fine. These are some really powerful women who have made their life around this. Of course,
Yeah.
like back then everything that I'm doing right now was like, oh my God, such a long shot. I don't think I can ever be able to, do even close to this. But yeah, that's
Mm-hmm.
how it happened. But I think when I started off, I was more of like a trainer, like a corporate trainer. That's what I wanted to do. But with young kids and like life and being a Muslim woman, I know that my real core responsibility is my home. So striking the right kind of balance was a bit difficult. And then when I started doing mentoring, I realized that there weren't transformations happening. And then I was like, why
Mm-hmm.
is that? Like, so I'm just slapping these strategies onto these amazing women, but then they're not able to apply them. That's when I got deep and into coaching and stuff. And I was like, got to the root of the problem. So why is it that you feel this way? Why then? Why then? Why this? Why now? So what is the real feeling you're feeling? What is the real emotion? And then we go to the root of the problem, because it's like you're trying to treat wounds. You're just putting band-aid on like bleeding wounds. You're
Yeah.
not trying to
Yeah.
go to the source of it. So once I started going to the source of, when was the first time you felt this way? So when was the first time you felt that inadequacy? When was the first time you felt you're not good enough? So it was always linked to a childhood memory where someone told them, because we're not born this way. We're all born in this abundantness, and we feel like we are the most amazing people. But it was through
Yeah.
that journey that sometime in our life we were told that, okay, fine, this is not good enough. You're not good enough. You should, tone yourself down. You should behave like according to how the society wants you to. And that's when you start second guessing yourself and you start developing the fear of judgment, fear of failure. What is everybody going to think of me? So when you go to the root of that, that's when you realize that,
Mm-hmm.
okay, fine, this is the reason. Now this is the problem. So when
Mm-hmm.
you treat the main root of the
Yeah.
problem, you like that's when I start seeing amazing transformations. And that's when I
Yeah.
realized the power of coaching. And I think
Yeah. Yeah.
there
Yeah.
aren't enough people. Trust me, there aren't
Yes.
enough people. I
Yes.
think every manager should learn the skill of coaching. Every leader should learn the skill of coaching, because we become these advice giving monsters. We are like, okay, fine, let me just give you advice. Someone tells you like a small problem, you're like, okay, I know how I can help you, without even understanding what is the real problem. So I think coaching as a skill should be taught to every manager. It should be like a minimum requirement for people. And even if you're not taking up coaching in itself as a profession, what you can do is you can, develop these skills and use it in your professional life with
Yeah,
your own teams and with your at your own workplace.
absolutely. So since you went into very important topic, because see, when we understood like what is coaching, I would say this is limiting belief issue, right? This is
Mm-hmm.
what you are hinting it to. So
Mm-hmm.
how do our fears from our past inhibit our growth?
Mm-hmm.
Any growth in the present, basically,
Mm-hmm.
because I think this is what happens in the limiting beliefs, which is in the
Mm-hmm.
past when you were childhood. These all stories, all those things we
Mm-hmm.
create in our mind, I believe. So
Yeah.
because of that, I'm like, okay, if I want to do anything, I'm like, any, not today, maybe after 1 week, maybe after 10 days. You're
Mm-hmm.
procrastinating. You're afraid
Mm-hmm.
of many things. So I
Yeah.
think that's where you lose your confidence also.
Yeah, absolutely. That's so true. You said about three things specifically about limiting belief. I think anything that you find excuse to not doing becomes a limiting belief. If you're like, I want to start a business, but I don't have the time. I want to start a business, but my family is not supportive. I want to start a business, but my kids will take up a lot of time. I want to start a
Mm,
business, but
mm,
this is the thing. So whatever excuse that you're coming up with is the limiting belief based on the conditioning that you got while growing up. So when you
mm,
saw that, specifically for me, one of the biggest limiting belief was I will never be able to manage my work and my life. I would never be able to manage my life in a manner where I
yeah,
am what can I say? I feel in today's time, the idea of women empowerment has been so misunderstood. But if you actually read Quran and if you understand that how much women are empowered in the right kind of way. So even when I started doing all this, no one around me got it. Like what was my main thing? Like what was that? What was it that I wanted to offer? So I wanted to make sure that especially like teenagers, like my sister's age group and like younger girls and stuff, they have like a proper, they don't have role models like Kim Kardashian or Kylie Jenner
absolutely.
and all of these ladies. They should see that it's possible for a Muslim woman, while protecting her modesty, while using her intellectual abilities, helping other Muslim women, because I work specifically with Muslim women because I feel like I can understand a lot of their struggles and how they have been brought up and stuff. So I think that is one of the biggest reason why I started this, and that's the limiting belief that I had, that it is not possible. I wouldn't have the time.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
procrastination
think you
also.
said. So procrastination has such a broad thing. We think that everything is procrastination, but actually there are four types to procrastination. The first one is when you have the fear of failure and you're like, okay, fine, I don't, even if I try, I'm going to fail. So that's one
Yeah.
of the reasons that you're doing it. The next one is because in the past you have proven yourself. So if you're that person who studies last minute, you're like, okay, fine. You're like, if tomorrow is the exam, I'll start studying today night. And your brain knows that you can do that. So it'll make you do that even more in the future because your brain knows that you can work under stress. So that could be another reason as well. Other reason could be a lot of overwhelm when you don't have a structure to your life. That is also one of the reason that you're not able to get things done. When you're like, I want to do
Mm,
it, why am I
mm,
not able to do it? So once you have
mm,
like a
mm,
proper time management system, that is
mm,
when you will
mm,
cut down on that overwhelm. Actually, create the time for the things you want to do. It'll motivate you, and there are like a
mm,
lot of strategies around it.
mm, mm, mm. Great. So uh, it's seriously a big problem. And nobody can say that. Okay, I am free from that. You
Yeah.
have to always keep watching on that. So how do you keep? I know. How do you find out, Danny? How are you? What are the techniques you're using for that
As in like the root
to
of the
find out
problem.
what is, yeah, the root of the problem?
Oh, I do like sometimes I do deep coaching, like understanding and reflecting a lot on that. There are a lot of NLP techniques that I use, and
Mm, mm,
like
mm,
then for the application, then I go for CBT because I feel I'm very good at linguistically, role play techniques, and all of that. So I create those situations with the clients in like this Zoom session where I pretend to be the boss. And like one of my clients, she's really struggled to speak up to her boss sometimes. So we did that role play technique and all of that. So there are different techniques that I use, but specifically something that has um, really helped my clients open up and have literally open up and they've cried in front of me was always with deep coaching, like powerful coaching. I am a big fan of Rich Litwing. Like he's one of the best coaches out there. So I really study his methods and how he does coaching, how he gets to the root of the problem by asking them powerful questions, because it's all about that. It's all about, and another thing is we as people sometimes have these defenses where we are so good at dodging others. We don't want to be vulnerable. Like sometimes clients just are uncoachable. And I'm trying to dig deeper and they'll just tell me, no, no, Aisha, that's it. That's all the problem that was there. No, no, there's nothing that happened. And then I'll ask them about a situation and they'll tell me the symptoms. And I'll be like, you're not telling me something. There is something underneath that. And that's when I catch them off guard and they're like, yes, Aisha, you're right. There's something I didn't tell you. And then they go deeper and they tell me, okay, fine, that was the first time I felt this way. And then because in that moment as really young kids or as really young people, we don't know how to communicate these feelings. So when we do it and we express ourselves and get like those suppressed emotions, once we start addressing them and seeing how they make us feel, you get used to it. I have to do it over a period. That's the thing. I don't do one-off sessions. I used to do them before, like incentives, 90 minutes and stuff. But they will give you a solution for just like a week, and then you'll fall back to the same pattern. So now I create like 8-week programs and 10-week programs wherein I work for a long period of time and get those results.
Since you said it's deep coaching, that is something which I also had in my mind, which is internal voice. So when you were talking about it, there is something going behind me also, like, okay, this is something new, and I think maybe I can use it somewhere else. This is a good technique which is getting results. So this internal voice either destroy our passion or build our passion. How
Yeah,
do you distinguish
absolutely.
this kind of voice which is going on? Because if you don't know which, what kind of test do you do it? How do you find out like this voice, what it is saying is beneficial for me?
Mhm.
What kind of
Okay.
test do you, personally for you and your for your
So,
clients?
mhm. Okay. So I think when it comes to that, typically because I work with women, I see that women have this pattern of always second guessing ourselves. We just want to make everybody happy. We want our kids to be happy. We want our neighbor to be happy. We want our cousin's mother-in-law to be happy with us. So we're always in that negative self-talk pattern, and we're like, oh God, I'm never good enough. And we beat ourselves up a lot. And I think this is really true for a lot of men also. We try to put up these faces that, it's all good, everything's fine, I'm doing well. But then we all have that negative voice within us, which is constantly telling us, this is not good enough. I don't think I should be doing this. Who do you think you are to do all this? Like, who do you think you are to go out and start doing lives? And you have that voice.
Yeah.
So one of the best ways that I help my clients realize is that I help them do visualization exercises that actually helps them realize, this is through NLP and hypnosis techniques, where it actually helps them realize what impact that negative voice has on you. And then we sit to reframe that negative voice based on the past wounds that we found, like the childhood wounds that we found. We then, like, what were the praise words you craved as a child? What did you want to hear from your
Okay.
parents? What did you want to hear from your siblings? If you were bullied in school or if you were yelled at by the teacher, so what did you want to hear? What did you want to do? And then you start turning that negative self-talk into affirmations, like powerful affirmations, not something that is not related to you. Like, there's no point in chanting, I'm strong, I'm bold,
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
I'm
yeah.
this and that,
Exactly.
if it's not connected to you.
Yes.
So you have to make sure that your affirmations are super specific. I'll tell you about one of them. Before I got my article published, before even I started like even pitching, For 8 months, every day I told myself that I'm a published writer. I'm a published writer. Like I have my articles in the magazine. I
Mm-hmm.
would close my eyes. I would visualize it to the point that I could see my name. And I did it so much, so much. Every day in my journal, I would write, I'm a published writer. And the more I did it, it actually happened. And it was so surreal because I know a lot of people. I mean, I felt like to the point it was so unbelievable. I feel like it's just fluke maybe, and that's
Mm-hmm.
how it is. You have to,
Mm-hmm.
maybe because in my childhood I was craving a lot of recognition.
Yeah.
So for me, that is how I use that affirmation. So it could be different for different people.
Mm-hmm. That's the reason you can say that this internal voice is created. Behind
Hmm.
behind internal voice, there is something. There is again, which is like
Hmm.
a old story.
Yeah.
So old story
Yep.
has created a whale
Absolutely.
in front of you, right?
Hmm.
So
Yeah.
excellent. And this is giving some clarity to me also. Thank you.
Hmm.
And
No worries.
so let me ask you something very important, which is like, why we cannot achieve what we want or reach our true potential. Sometimes uh, it is limiting beliefs, one of them. And when you know that this is limiting belief and you're doing all possible things, you are making all the affirmations, you're praying, you're doing all the efforts which is required to fix it. So but still people take time, or sometimes they don't do it and they regret at the end. So
Hmm.
why is that? What do you think,
Okay.
Annie? What is your belief about it?
Hmm. So I have seen this a lot, wherein what we do is we try to fall behind trends. Like, okay, fine, this industry is doing well, so let me just go do that. Okay, fine, now food blogging is really big, let me do that. Now
Mm-hmm.
this is doing well, so let me do that. So when you are trying to push yourself to do something, that's like a push motivation, then it's going to be really hard for you to keep it up because it doesn't align with your own core values. So
Mm-hmm.
the moment you realize that, find something that is like a pull motivation to you, like something that makes you feel like you're pulled to do it. You're not pushing or you're not going against yourself. Like I sometimes wake, like it was Ramadan time. I would have my suhoor at 3 with my husband, and then at 4 a.m. I would take my coaching calls till like 6, and then I had like my son's class at 7. So why do you think it was so easy for me? Like, of course, it's not easy for anybody to stay up from 3 and then the next day. Like I would have like sleep for like 5 hours, 4 hours maybe.
Mm-hmm.
So that the reason is because I had this full motivation to do it. And everything that I'm doing now aligns so perfectly with my core values that I don't have the need to push myself. So that is
Mm-hmm.
one of the things. Once you realize who you are, and sometimes people don't even know who they are. They don't know what they want because they are being all their, the teenage years, they have been conditioned to think a certain way, to believe a certain things, that they don't even know who they are and what are their core values. So
Mm-hmm.
once you start discovering yourself and understanding what really aligns with me, and then find a goal that you want to work towards, you will not have that problem. And I have seen that.
Okay, so discovering yourself is a solution for this. So
Mhm.
how do you really discover? Any a normal person will feel like it's every time we are saying this is discover yourself, discover yourself. How do you discover
I know.
yourself? It's like, it has
I'll tell you.
become like a big game thing,
Yeah.
and every time it's like
It's a
onion
very,
peeling. Yeah.
I know,
Yes.
exactly. Like it's a very cliche thing to say also, like follow your passion, discover
Yeah. Yeah.
yourself, and all of
Exactly.
that. I mean, but then how do you do that? Like that was my question. I was like, I see all of these amazing coaches and I see all of these amazing writers and people I admire so much. They go on these adventure trips to India, to Italy, to Bali to find themselves. And
Exactly.
I'm like,
Mm.
sometimes people don't have those resources.
Yeah.
You can't do that
Mm.
in practical life. If you are married, you have kids, you have college, you have parents, you can't do that. So
Mm-hmm.
what I think, this is something like not invented by me. This is something that was said by Elizabeth Gilbert in her book, now Eat, Pray, Love. She says that it doesn't have to be so extravagant. You just have to focus on following your curiosity sometimes. Like, what is about this that's making me curious? Why is it that I'm intrigued towards this specific thing? and
Mm-hmm.
follow your curiosity. And that can happen every day. I remember I used to be stirred along so many paths. That's because you have to try a few things. You have to try. I tried photography, I tried writing, I tried copywriting, I tried, even when I started coaching, I did so many things: NLP, CBT, hypnosis, RTT. And I was like, just follow your curiosity.
Yeah.
Try out different things. I know, like, not everybody can have the luxury to experiment so much with their life.
Mm-hmm.
Alhamdulillah, because of Allah's blessing. And I always say this, it is because Allah has given me this liberty. I'm not, we see a lot of women in West have to work to earn the bread as well. But Alhamdulillah, in our Muslim world, since man is taking that responsibility, we women have that liberty to experiment with these things.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel so fortunate to be able to do that sometimes. And I'm like, that's the reason I did it. And sometimes you have to, as even Gary Vee says this. So your 9 to 5 could be one thing, but if your 7 to 10, what do you do during that time? That
Yeah.
is the time you have to. Don't read one specific genre of books. Don't just read personal growth or fitness or health related books. Read a lot of variety of books and see what makes you feel curious. So I think that is how you have to find yourself. It doesn't have to be so extravagant as going out and traveling, leaving your family behind, or living that kind of lifestyle. But every day, find something that makes you curious. It could be true crime. Like, I know someone, he's a blogger, and he used to feel so, like, he was obsessed with true crime and all of those CDs and everything.
Mm-hmm.
He started his own podcast, and like that podcast is huge now. And someone who used to watch a lot of a specific genre, and then they were like, how can I use this or spread the message about it? And they started doing something around it. They started writing about it. So I think following your curiosity every day, ins and outs of it a little bit, I think that's how you have to go about it. And don't this is something I tell my clients also, and none of my programs promise you that, okay, fine, in like 8 weeks you're going to be this. You should stop setting timelines, time deadlines for everything,
Mm-hmm.
and like experiment with it,
Yeah.
see how it makes you feel.
Mm.
And I have some of my clients who completely change their niches because they're like, okay, fine, Aisha, I wanted to be an anxiety coach, but I don't know, this is not aligning with me. And then I'll be like, okay, fine, so what is something else you enjoy? And then she was like, I really enjoy art. And I was like, okay, fine. She said, I enjoy art and psychology. I was like, wow, that's interesting. How about art therapy? She looked into it and she was like, wow, this really aligns with me and I really want to do this. And I was like, yeah, that's how you do it. You have to try before you know and understand for yourself. So that's
Mm-hmm.
what I think.
So this is something which you made it clear. Like, yani, this is most of us, even me, have done similar thing, and I did not stop. Even if I left one job,
Mhm.
I have no time for wasting. I just either
Mhm.
go for next job and find out something to read and learn, or finish some course. I haven't gone any
Mhm.
professional courses, but if I have gone for that, it is a reason that I have a time I don't want to waste. So I think
Mhm.
that aligns with what you said. But still, you see, it's a curiosity, you said. But
Mhm.
why should we do it? Because let me tell you example. If someone starts a project, or a new idea, or got a vision, in the beginning, okay, there was some kind of voice going on, not to do it. Why do you have to do it? Somebody's already doing it. Why you have to do it? There is something, nothing great about you.
Mhm.
And these things, when you beat this one and move further, then you get like, is it really necessary? Is it really like,
Mhm.
why do I need to do this? The why
Mhm.
question comes and kills the dreams, the passion again.
Mhm. Yeah,
What do you
you're
think
making a
about
lot
that?
of sense.
Why
And I
does it
think
happen? Yeah.
everybody thinks like that. Everybody thinks like that.
Okay.
But I'll just ask you one question about this. If nothing has changed around you, okay, will you tell me, is success for everybody?
Yeah.
It's not for everybody.
Yes.
It's for those few ones who are ready to support their dream now so that their dream will support them in future. So
Mm-hmm.
it's for those people who really have embodied that growth mindset,
Okay.
that at every step of the way, I will constantly be feeling, every time you take an action, there'll be an equal reaction of resistance, of
Mm-hmm.
self-doubt, of imposter.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to mentally prepare yourself for that. Because
Mm-hmm.
we think that, okay, fine, that person has it so easy. He just started. There was this one viral video, and that's his claim
Yeah.
to fame.
Yeah.
You have no idea how much it takes, how
Mm-hmm.
much it takes. When you read, that's the reason I always say, don't go for like, self-help books. Go for like biographies sometimes,
Mm-hmm.
because they will show you the real struggle
Story. Yeah.
of how someone got to where they are.
Yeah.
Like, did you know that the writer of Harry Potter, we see her as
Yeah.
this,
Yeah.
published writer.
Yes.
She was rejected 11 times. Like,
Yes.
her copy was rejected 11 times. Oprah
Mm-hmm.
Winfrey, she was rejected from her first television job.
Mm-hmm.
And so all of these people have these failed businesses, failed ideas, failed
Mm-hmm.
attempts in their life. That's where you have to reprogram your mind towards failures also.
That
I
the
think that is
willingness,
something.
it will be like fixed, that I have to do this. This is my intention. Yani. So your intention is
Yeah.
strong, that you nobody can beat you. So it's
Yeah.
something, I think, Yani, this is something, if anybody is listening to this, must be getting it now. Like, they should not give
Mhm.
up on just like 6 months. If you see, like, every 6 months, we don't know how many entrepreneurs give up. And another,
Yeah.
after 3 years, how many entrepreneurs just give up? I don't know in last
Mhm.
2 years what happened and what is the numbers. It's going crazy, I
Yeah.
think, these recent numbers.
Mhm.
So even
Yeah.
if they have great creative ideas, it's not coming into picture. So
Mhm.
this was whole of things which I think you have really put a light on it. And let me
Mhm.
get back to your things. So I just
Mhm.
need to know from you, what are three essential things in your life?
Uh, I will have to say definitely my kids.
Okay.
Uh, my family, like all of them, my siblings, my husband, my parents, all of those people, like those are like rocks in my life, and I feel like without them, I wouldn't have been able to be who I am. Um, Other thing would be this work that I'm doing. Like, it's so important for me. I don't know where it started. I used to get really offended or really affected by the way I would see, women not having the courage to stand up for themselves, or
Mm-hmm.
women just letting go of the injustices. And that's when I realized, I guess I was like in 2008 or something, I was like, I wish Allah just give me the ability to actually help these women out. And I think this is something that is very essential for my life, because it's aligned and it's attached to so many of my core values. And I really think that
Mm-hmm.
the work that I'm doing now is really important to me for those reasons. I think last week one of my clients, she said that I spoke to my husband in an assertive manner, not aggressive, assertive manner, after 14 years of my marriage. Like, I stood up for myself, and like that was it. Like, I was like, this is it. And I want to remember that moment. And there was this other client of mine, and she said that, Aisha, I feel so much more in align with myself. I don't feel the need to justify.
Mm-hmm.
Even if there are disagreements, even if there are situations and problems, I just feel so myself, and I don't feel the need to justify or, sweat over these things. And I'm able to stand up for myself effortlessly. And I'm like, yeah, and I feel like all of these things will translate into your business, into your profession, because I
Mm-hmm.
feel like these are the foundations, the relationships you have. So I think relationships are really important for me.
Yeah. So you said one is your children's, and then you have your passion which you're following, and then you
Hmm.
went back to the relationships which you're maintaining.
Yeah,
So
family.
yeah, of course, Yani. So how do you manage all these roles, mashallah, Yani,
Hmm.
doing all of this?
I'm it looks like I'm having it under control, but I'm not. Behind the scenes, it's really hard. Others, especially because in the first year, I always say this as the first year of business, because I'm constantly changing what I'm doing. So it's always the first year, I feel. But then it'll always be like that. You just have to keep that open communication with every role. So if I'm not able to meet my expectations of my family, I communicate that. Why is it not like that? Or if, with my husband, I keep a very open communication. I explain him everything and I tell him the why behind it and like build this strong relationship. So I'm able to, even if I fall short, of course, I'm a human. Sometimes I'm not a good mother. Sometimes I'm not a good housemaker. I'm not a good businesswoman. I'm not a good coach. So it's about letting yourself be and realizing that at the end of the day, I'm a human and these moments will be there. I just have to
Mm-hmm.
communicate vulnerably that, okay, fine, yes, I messed up. I apologize to my kids. Like if I am in that, rage and if I, like sometimes I hit them or if I'm yelling at them. So I
Amazing.
just apologize to my son and be like, I'm sorry, ma, that I screamed at you, or I just accepted that, like, I'm sorry, mom, I couldn't call you. I know you needed me and, I was so messed up. So accepting that vulnerably and accepting that it's okay. I think that's how it goes.
It's like so many things will be there. It's
Hmm.
not like it's a perfect work happening.
No, no, no.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Excellent. So you have anything to say? Mashallah, and you
I
have
think I
covered
said a lot.
almost very important questions for me. So because since
Yeah.
I have been in a journey to see find out like how we can simplify all this, like true passion, the true love, the language which we are using it, and is
Hmm.
it really connecting it with the focal point in our life? Why should we do this, and where is it gonna connect? So what do you think,
Hmm.
Anik? Where are you connecting yourself with? What is your reference point in your life?
You mean future?
Like, why are you doing all these things, Yani, at the end? What is your main core intention or value or idea behind it?
Hmm.
Because
Okay.
this is tough questions. It's like I started with you maybe more than others.
Hmm.
So I think I'm gonna
Hmm.
ask more of this to everyone because like we should know like for me and like, if my the internal certainty is clear, the belief is clear for me. I know that if your belief is strong enough, things will happen to you and actions will show that belief.
Hmm.
What do you
Yeah.
think that is making you driving you so much?
I think that representation, because I feel like a Muslim woman in a hijab is either seen to be, especially I feel, how it is thought that this idea of empowerment, like I want to
Mm-hmm.
change that. I want to change that and show that, like, I have gotten, alhamdulillah, a lot amazing group of friends who I have been able to explore the world and see the world and all of that. But I always made sure that I drew the boundaries around myself within. I always asked myself these two questions: Is this something that is going against Allah's teaching? Is this something that's going against my parents' teaching? If it's not, if it's something that I am enjoying, and if it's something that is helping me intellectually grow, I used to do debates for my school and my college and stuff. So I think that exposure was always there, and I always felt like there has to be and not necessarily, I don't think I want to put that responsibility onto myself, but I think there has to be a way for women to or girls, young girls specifically, to understand that you can have both. You can have a family and a career. You can balance both your Islamic values while protecting harboring a family also, because I think there is this huge generational belief that we have that if a woman is successful in her career, she can't have a family life. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I think this is something so deep rooted. Or if a woman gets too empowered, she loses the sight of what is really important to her. And I think that is really important to me. Like, showing women that, especially in our community, showing women that you can be empowered in an Islamic way. I think that's what the goal is.
So I just want
Mhm.
to, before I close, have quick rapid questions with you, so that like it will be one word
Mhm.
reply or less than 5 words, so that
Okay, this will be a challenge.
yeah, this should be like very quick and should be from
Okay.
your side, no much thinking. Well, so
Mhm.
maybe I'll have long questions, a few words only. So firstly, what is your biggest challenge?
Mhm. Uh, Time management. That is always a big challenge.
Okay, biggest regret?
Um, it used to be having kids early on, but now that's my biggest strength.
Hmm. So, what are you scared about future?
That I might that I won't be able to balance everything. That I would get. Yeah, this is something that I told my mom also, that I don't want success which will make me lose sight of what is important in my life. Like
Hmm.
I want the success that is good for me in this world and in hereafter. And I don't want to lose sight of all of that in the name of making money or in the name of actually becoming successful.
When I say kids, what comes to your mind?
Uh, a lot of stress, a lot of work. Kids are hard work.
Okay, okay. I think
That's just an honest answer.
all ladies are having. I don't know. I'm talking to them. They're just saying that, oh, it's too much stress everywhere. They're running here and there,
Yeah,
quick
yeah,
and
it is really hard.
okay. When was
That's
it?
the thing because yeah, I have like two under five,
Hmm.
so there's always
Oh yeah,
chaos.
mashallah.
So that's really hard. Mhm.
So, when was your happiest moment?
Um, there have been a lot of them, but I think I didn't value this moment enough. But I think when I had my son, my like I that was, and this is a question that I ask all of my clients, and all of their answers are when with their firstborn, like when they
Mm.
first, like I don't know
Mm.
why it is so true. And like I have this exercise where they tell me happiest memory of their life, and they always go back. I think that is really empowering.
For sure, for sure. Yeah, same answers. So, how
Mhm.
about? Yeah, I think you are not into politics. What is politics for you?
Uh, I don't even like to get involved in that talks because I feel like the people who are running politics are not equipped to running
Really?
politics. I think, yeah, I don't think they are specifically because um, the kind of politics that we are aware of are really wrong.
Mm-hmm.
It's actually really good. I used to be really into political, but actually the in theory,
Mm-hmm.
like what is it's really powerful, but the way it's been applied, the people that the kind of people who are running it, I think that's something that I don't even like to get involved.
Great. So, how do you want yourself to be remembered?
Hmm. So helping others feel empowered, like enabling others to feel more authentic in their skin, like she was someone who could do that. Like that's how I want to be remembered.
Excellent. So, what do you think about today's interview? At the end.
It was fun. I'm actually a very good, like one of my greatest social skill is conversation. So
Yes.
I'm public speaking. So I think
Mm-hmm.
these are two areas that I really am into. So I really enjoyed this.
Okay. So, one last question is, what advice do you want to give all the youngsters, both
Um,
both men and
mhm.
women?
I would say find yourself, like as cliche as that sounds, like don't get into this thing that okay fine, this is it, this is my life, like that's
Mm-hmm.
how it is. Like I've done this, now college, and then get married, and then this and that. Like don't limit yourself to that. Explore more of your potential. Invest in books. I think that will be a very good investment. Invest in audiobooks, listen to podcasts. I
Mm-hmm.
think grow your knowledge.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I would say.
But you're not suggesting to have some coach and mentors?
You said youngsters,
Yeah,
so I
yeah.
don't
What do
know
you think?
how.
I think because there are projects happening for everyone who is like above 30, and most of them are depressed after 30s or something. I think if
Mm-mm.
if things are fixed between 18 and 25,
Oh,
imagine
yes, you're so
big
right. You're
thing.
so right. Because there has been research done on this where they said your brain cannot be reprogrammed after 25, as in, like, for you to completely have that change, either there has to be trauma after 25 or real personal struggle from which you can grow. So the best time to reprogram your brain is 18 to 25. But I also think that that age is really sensitive. It's really, I think someone with a lot of wisdom can handle these kids, because you can sometimes push them off. And I think once you really understand them, there has to be like different kind of coaching for them, definitely.
Excellent. Yani, this is something very important. So thank you so much, Ayesha Khan. This is
Mhm.
great interview I had with you. You have
Mhm.
revealed so many things about limiting belief, because the next month I have some program kept for the limiting belief, and I'm really
Mhm.
studying about it, because there are very less
Oh.
books on that also, I think, which talks
Mhm.
about the process. I believe that
Mhm.
the process, like you have to go back, because sometimes I feel like going back to that past and digging again and reframing it, uh, for me sometimes it's not so safe also. uh, so I
Mhm.
need to really
Oh
think
yeah.
about, yeah, because you
Mm,
need
exactly.
somebody,
You have to roll
yeah,
that.
you need to be watched
Mhm.
out. Maybe you lose your mind, yeah. Because this program is like you're going, you know uh, it's like a time, what do you call, time machine, and you go back and maybe
Mhm.
you will be stuck there. So this is
Mhm.
something I'm working
No,
on,
no, no.
and
I think it is also important to create that distinction, and I'm so happy that you brought this up, because people think that coaching is like a substitute to counseling, which it's not at all. So if there is trauma, if there is serious things that a coach is not equipped to handle, like I tell it off right away where I feel like they are really complaining about it, they're not able to move on from that. I straight away recommend. Like I have a friend who does counseling. So I just immediately recommend them to her, because I think there has to be a professional. Because I know sometimes where coaches have delved into these areas and clients have had panic attacks. So I think it's really important to draw that boundary and understand if this is limiting belief or if it's trauma. So if it's a limiting belief, nothing too traumatic in the past, like abuse or nothing too traumatic, then I think you can go to that. But if it's trauma, then it's really important. And about coaching, I think you should start coaching. It's like a skill. So the more you coach, the more you learn. You won't learn it through books. That's what
yes.
something that I was like, give me a book to learn, give me more questions and all that. You will learn it only while working with others, specifically people who are
Yes,
coachable.
yes, yes. Because the way we are working now is something amazing.
Yeah.
Maybe in future we will have these kind of in Bahrain also. Because now I'm
Inshallah.
experimenting, and it
Mhm.
was successful for me. The way we are doing it for the mastermind thing, it is opening up
Mhm.
many things, and many people have changed. And because
Mhm.
like not all people are coachable. You cannot coach everyone.
Exactly.
Like you
Mhm.
said, it is
Yeah.
very difficult for someone who is not really ready to open up. So you
Mhm.
need to build that trust, and you need to build that environment. You need to take some time for them. It will not happen overnight.
Mhm.
So it
Move
needs
on.
patience. It's only people with the
Mhm.
creative minds and art
Mhm.
in their mind, and the way you were working. This is my one of my values, that I should respect who is doing all this work. I acknowledge that what you're doing is really amazing. Keep doing it,
Mhm.
and
No, thank you so much.
we will definitely hear from you a lot. We are already seeing you doing all this active, uh, free content sharings, and may God
Mhm.
bless you. Keep doing this, and
Mhm.
please, any if there is any chance, allow me to interview it next time also. It's because I have
Definitely.
lots of program planned for all
Mhm.
my closest friends and people, and powerful people like you. Thank you so
Mhm.
much for
Thank you
joining
so
me
much for
today.
having me.
Yeah, thank you
Thank
so
you.
much.
It was lovely, because I always love having open-ended open-minded conversations with
Yeah,
people. So definitely, I would love to collaborate you also. Like, because
yeah.
I feel since you're working on this thing, and one thing that I've realized that most of my clients are from the west side of the world, so they're a lot more coachable. But I
Amazing.
think in this side of the world, they have to be more aware about coaching firstly.
Exactly. Its awareness is really
Mm,
bad. And if you see the
mm,
eastern continent or eastern side of the world is struggling. It's struggling in many
yeah.
areas,
And
whether
they don't want solution. And
because
they don't want
they
solution.
have been
That's the thing.
one of the thing is they are going through such a abuse in their life.
Mm,
I'm talking about the people in Kashmir, the people in Palestine. The, they are going through tough time, and that is affecting others
mm,
also. And it's been long
yeah.
time. People either become. I'm not talking about empathy. I'm talking apathy. And there is no feelings.
Mm,
There is no emotions now. So we have
yeah.
lost that, and this is such a hard time we are going through. Annie. So
Mm,
what we can do is just pray for them and keep doing our work. This is something
yeah.
I encourage
Exactly.
everyone. Thank you so much.
Mhm.
We'll see you
Thank you so
next
much.
time. Till
Mhm.
then, thank you so much. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.